Hello and welcome to Shell Point Today for Monday, October 5th. I'm Mary Kay Grimaldi.
And I'm Rich Nation. On today's show, Terry Kolath will talk with resident Al Kaplan about organizing your files and when you should start shredding them. And Anna Smith from FineMark Bank will talk to us about unexpected life events.
Also, we'll head back to the train room in the Island Tunnel to celebrate its reopening for the season. Tours begin today, but first we want to remind you that tomorrow is your opportunity to go hog wild with an outing to Hog Body's Bar and Grill. Enjoy a down-home barbecue lunch and 54 flavors of wings.
Wait, I've heard of buffaloes with wings, but hogs with wings?
Well, pigs do fly, but that's 54 flavors of chicken wings, silly. The cost of the outing is $7 with lunch on your own. Pickups begin on the island at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
If you have Medicare or Medicare Advantage insurance plans, then you might want to attend a presentation on open enrollment Wednesday. You'll meet Healthcare Billing Manager Joni Reagan and her team as they discuss all of the insurance options, updates, and changes available that you'll want to be aware of during this open enrollment period. Head over to the Social Center on the island at 1:15 Wednesday for this important presentation.
The holiday season is fast approaching, so it's time to start thinking about beautiful music. Not just music you can listen to, but music you're a part of, by participating in the Christmas cantata at the Village Church. Choir rehearsals begin this Thursday at 2:30 p.m. For more information, call Ted or Ruth Rogers at 466-5353.
Earlier, my co-host was talking about hogs. Now it's time to talk about monkeys. On Thursday, you can enjoy a presentation and a movie in the Grand Cypress Room about
monkeys?
Monkeys. No, I'm not bringing home movies from my family vacations as a child. This will be an insightful presentation from Deborah Misati, director of Talking Monkeys Project. She will speak about the efforts to rescue and rehabilitate apes and monkeys. Sounds like a pretty noble effort. They provide a home for forgotten primates while striving to connect people to earth-friendly lifestyles. A documentary will follow the presentation entitled Born to be Wild. Again, that's not my family vacation films. It all starts at 2:30 in the Grand Cypress Room on Thursday.
Today is a different age. Having boxes and boxes of hard copy documents collecting dust in the attic or taking up shelf space in your office or living room can be a thing of the past. Al Kaplan of Oakmont wants you to start shredding those documents. Instead of keeping hard copies, store them on the computer. In his Academy class starting tomorrow, Al will show you how to preserve your documents on the computer and virtually on the cloud, which is much safer than paper documents, vulnerable to flood and fire. Here's Al as he speaks with Terry Kolath about storing files in computer folders for better organization and storage.
Hello everyone, I'm Terry Kolath. I'm here today with Al Kaplan of Oakmont, and we're talking about a course in the Computer College. And this is pretty interesting. Thanks for joining me, Al.
My pleasure.
I love that you're going to talk about organizing your files. It's something that's been a challenge for me. And it's a challenge for all of us right now because we tend to hold on to the hard copies. Absolutely. And not trust putting something into the computer. Why is that?
Well, because we like to have something to put in our hands, but we're in a different age now, and that's why the course that I give is called Organize Your Files and Use Your Trash Machine.
Right, shred them up.
Shred them up and get rid of them. And the trash machine works very effectively to get rid of the paper. And when you put them in the computer, not only does it condense it in a small format, it also preserves it in a way that you can't preserve paper. If, God forbid, there's a fire or a flood, your paper disappears. If you put it on the computer, there are ways to secure it that it ain't going to disappear.
Right, and there are all kinds of ways. You tell us about those ways, the cloud, the flash drive.
There are many ways. I started out, I've been playing with computers for a number of years, mainly to see what it does for me, not just for the computer. And I've learned over the years that I back it up, so to speak, on a second computer or on a disk of some sort which preserves it. And in the past couple of years, you back it up in the clouds.
Amazing.
The cloud is the terminology that everybody uses and everybody talks about, but what it means is that we have proceeded to the point where the information is taken from your computer automatically and sent off someplace else where it's preserved. So your information is preserved in your home or office and also preserved someplace else. So that my information is preserved by a company. I won't give them the name because I'm not commercializing for them.
Right.
But a very effective company that if I need the information, I can download it very conveniently. And if I go someplace, if I go visit my kids in Boston, New York, etc., I can easily take my computer or their computer, tap a little bit in there, put my password, and I can download the files that I put in the computer here on ShellPoint.
How wonderful. I mean, like a storm comes up. You have everything. You don't have to worry about your home. It's just amazing that you can share with your family information, show photographs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just wonderful.
To me, the apropos, we live in ShellPoint. We live in Hurricane Valley.
Sure.
Well, I lived on Sanibel, so we prepared every June for the hurricane. And I used to carry my computer with me when we left to go off the island. I do now, but I don't worry about it because I can download or upload to the cloud all my information so that if anything were to happen, like in Charlie, I don't worry about it because it's all available very quickly, and I can get all my information available.
So you're not going to take too long, just 2 sessions to show us how to do this filing. It's not all that complicated.
No, that's right. What I do in this session really is do some basics. The analogy I make is that most of us store stuff at home in drawers. You store your underwear in an underwear drawer. You store your ties in a tie drawer. But unfortunately, with papers, we have trouble conceiving that idea. So we're doing the same thing. We're putting papers of various sorts in separate folders. So putting them in separate folders means you can find them. So it means you put all your photos in a photo folder. Sure. And you can date the folder so that your daughter's wedding is in a folder labeled wedding. And you can easily find it. So I can pull up folders of my kids' weddings. A friend of mine celebrated his 80th 3 years ago, and his daughter called, said, "Do you have pictures?" I said, "Yes, I've known him for 60 years. It took me half an hour, and I sent her a whole pile of pictures over the 60-year period of time because I've had them stored that I can quickly bring them back.
That's wonderful. So you're going to teach us how to do this. Are you going to help us get the discipline to actually do it?
Yes. What I do in the program is I split the two, is in a 2-hour session, split the 2 hours. The first hour is a PowerPoint showing you how to do it. The second hour, we work on computers and apply what we've learned to storing stuff in folders. And then your homework is to go home and do it.
Wonderful. That is wonderful. Now, have you always worked with photos, with computers?
Well, I started in '79 or so when, out of curiosity, I bought a Radio Shack, which was at that time one of the few companies offering them for the average non-knowledgeable person, and I didn't know a thing about computers. I bought a computer from them, so-called Tristos 80, and started playing games with it and teaching myself. And that's where I started in the 80s, and I've progressed since then and learned how to store stuff. My storage knowledge began somewhere in the 90s because I look back and my records date back to the mid-90s. I have all my income tax returns for about 20 years on the computer.
So you're a fan of the scanner?
I'm a fan of the scanner.
Yeah.
You can either download them directly from the internet, which is that magical area which contains papers, or you can scan papers in, or you can, if you type something out, you can store that. So there are multiple ways you get these various pieces of paper.
So your curiosity and then your brave
venture into the unknown.
Venture into the unknown. It's all going to be to our advantage because you're going to know how we feel just starting out with something.
I know exactly how you feel because I have people saying it just 2 days ago, somebody said to me the same thing, my God, this book, you mean I can condense this? I said, yes.
Wonderful. Well, there's still a few openings in Dr. Kaplan's class, and it is called Organize Your Files and Start Shredding. Wouldn't it be wonderful to be there? You can. Register at either service desk.
Well, it sounds like the train room in the Island Tunnel is open for tours again. They've made some pretty interesting enhancements this year, and Melody Desilets brings you a brief look inside.
Hi, Shell Point. I'm Melody Desilets, Volunteer Coordinator, and I am here at the Gulf Coast Model Railroad train layout. I never can imagine where my job will take me, but here I am. And I'm here today because we have some exciting new changes that have occurred during the summer by some very passionate volunteers. The first being, if you take a look behind me, we have Magic Kingdom Cinderella's Castle that was hand-painted by a resident, and we'll get into a little bit more detail in a few minutes. And we also have the Burma Shave sign right behind me that lights up and flashes. And then over there we have some new power lines as well. So these great changes have been put together by resident volunteers. Now, if you look, this is a very tight space, but these are very tiny miniature layouts. All the detail has been hand-painted by resident volunteers. As you can see, the orange grove in front of me, each orange was hand-painted. So we are so appreciative of all the hard work that our residents have done, and I am seeing a new perspective like I've never seen before. So join us on this adventure that we're going to travel together. Now, these changes have been going on since 1971, and each summer we have new updates. So come along on this adventure with me. Now I am joined by Judy Owen. She's a docent here in the Gulf Coast Model Railroad train room, and she was the resident that hand-painted Cinderella's Castle. Judy, thank you so much for joining me today.
That's fine. Happy to be here.
Great. Now, what inspired you to paint this castle?
Well, I started as a docent here a year ago, and I noticed that the Cinderella's Castle looked to me like perhaps it had been done back in 1971. It was starting to show its age and had been just a magazine cutout that had been wrapped around a piece of cardboard. And I said at the time, I really think that the Magic Kingdom could use an update. Would it be all right if I went ahead and made a new Cinderella's Castle? And of course the answer was yes. So then I drew a design, but I decided we didn't want to use cardboard. We wanted to use something that was going to last a few more years. So I went to my friend Linda Friedebach, and I asked Linda if she would do the jigsaw cutout if I drew a plan, and she did that. So Linda produced it, cut it out, and I hand painted it.
Unbelievable, the artists and the talent that we have here at Shell Point. A day for that beautiful addition to the train room layout. I am now joined by Marilyn Horvath from Eagles Preserve, and she was asked by our PR guru, Phyllis Ingalls, also from Eagles Preserve, to write up a history of the train room. What did you find by writing up the history?
Well, first of all, I really knew none of the background. And as soon as you said to me, write a history of the train room, history. Well, I had to know more about the history. So the first part of my research, I went to find out about the Florida Railroad, or its history in Florida, and found out that Florida's growth was mainly because of the railroad. So I started it all the way back in 1830. Way up in the northern part of Florida, the gauges of the tracks weren't the same, they couldn't interconnect, but one thing led to the other, and all of a sudden the railroad became a way that Florida got its identity. And so on the East Coast, you've got the guru of Henry Flagler. West Coast is Henry Plant, the two Henrys. And with their entrepreneur genius and their personal wealth, they just started creating the state of Florida. And it was done through the railroad. Now, what has happened here, and what's really, I think, is so phenomenal, and I give Shell Point so much credit for this, is that what they've done is they've taken an era, the 50s and 60s, and it is what you see here, all the detail, is very true to that era. And what they've made into this is a living piece of history, because the history of the railroad is synonymous with the history of Florida. And they have made this a piece of living history.
The train room is open Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 1:30 to 3:30. So as Marilyn had said, come out and see this living history. Thank you again so much to Judy Owen for her expertise with hand painting the castle, and for all those other dynamic volunteers who have worked so hard this summer to bring you this masterpiece. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in the train room.
Although it may be difficult, it's important to be prepared if something unexpected happens. Proper preparation can relieve stress and help you make better decisions for yourself, as well as preventing financial issues for you and your loved ones. Here is Anna Smith of FineMark Bank with some simple steps to make sure you are ready for the unexpected.
Hello, I'm Anna Smith, Managing Executive at FineMark National Bank and Trust on the island. In today's FineMark Minute, planning for unexpected life events. Although it may be difficult, it's important to be prepared if something unexpected happens. It gives you control to make decisions for yourself, relieves stress for those taking care of you, and it prevents financial issues for you and your loved ones. Here are some simple steps to ensure you and your family are ready. First, make sure your financial matters are in order. Consider a durable power of attorney, giving one or more people the authority to handle your finances if you become incapacitated. Tell your loved ones and trusted advisors where your personal and financial documents are. Also, you may want to consider setting up automatic bill payments, and make sure you are properly insured. It's a good idea to review and update your financial documents and beneficiaries when necessary. And it's a good idea to make sure you are properly insured. And of course, if you have questions, please stop by our office on the island or give us a call at 461-5999. With today's FineMark Minute, I'm Anna Smith.
And now it's time to check out today's happenings, Academy News, menus, and Village Church connections, right after this Listening to the Words preview from David Howenstein.
This week's encore edition of Listening to the Words was first aired the week of August 5, 2013. The program gets off to an explosive start with the eyewitnessing of a B-29 plane crashing across a field from a house in the Arizona desert. Thereafter, the stories are all about fun. News press writer Amy Williams discovers Florida cracker tomato gravy. Then listen to an at-home story of mice and women, read aloud by Shell Point resident Kate Sullivan. Next, a story titled Take Fun Seriously, written by a former pastor who now enjoys life in Southwest Florida. Then a songwriter tells of how much fun it is to do it by myself. Next, the son of June Lockhart of Shell Point remembers the problems of summer camp. Finally, a woman remembers how, as a child, she wanted to fly. This is David Howenstein reminding you to listen to this 2-year-old show playing through every day this week on Shell Point Channel 12. The 30-minute program begins at the top and the bottom of each hour. And remember, all shows are always available to you, your friends and relatives, at www.shellpoint.net/listening. And thank you for listening to the words.
Hello and welcome to the Happening segment of ShellPoint TV. I'm Caitlin Van Scoy and I'm here with Dora Robbins, and we're going to give you all the activities for Monday. We start bright and early at 8 o'clock with men's round robin doubles tennis at the Woodlands tennis courts. From 8 to 5 today, the mobile mammography will be here in front of the village church. And we move to 8:45 for virtual bowling in the Resident Activity Center. From 9 to 10:30, FineMark Fall Shredding event will be at the village church. And billiards will be played in the Resident Activity Center at 9:15. Also at 9:15, the Lollygaggers Paddlers will be heading out for their weekly outing at the kayak storage. And pottery down in the pottery studio will be at 9:15. At 10 o'clock, men's round robin doubles tennis will be at the Woodlands tennis courts. And the Suzy-Q heads out at 10 o'clock to Matanzas on the Bay. That'll be a sign-up required event. At 10:15, we have Parkinson's Enrichment Group being held in the community room of King's Crown. And then we move to 10:30 for Disciple Men's Bible Study Group in the Woodlands Game Room. At 10:45, Table Tennis Playing Clinic will be in the Tarpon Room on the island. And our last morning activity is at 11:30. It's a Health Connections class, Bar Ball Edition. That'll be in the Health Club, and you do need to sign up for that. Here's Dora for all of our afternoon activities.
Thanks, Caitlin. At 12 o'clock, we have Mahjong at the Sable Room at the Woodlands. At 12:45, we have Senior Self-Defense at the Health Club, sign-up required. 1:15, Advanced Table Tennis at the Tarpon Room on the island. 1:15, Samba Card Playing, Resident Activity Center on the island. 1:15, Tone Chimes, Osprey Room at the island. 1:30, Model Train Room on the island from 1:30 to 3:30. 1:45, Balance and Mobility for Beginners, Health Club on the island, sign-up required. At 2 o'clock, the Beady-Eyed Bead Club at the Oak Room at the Woodlands. And at 2:15, Do You Know Your Neighbor? It's Great Britain, and that's at the Social Center and the island. At 3:15, we have the ShellPoint Singers Rehearsal, Choir Room on the island. At 5 o'clock, singles tables at the Crystal Dining Room on the island. Our last activity for the day is 6:30 Duplicate Bridge at the Game Room in the Woodlands. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Monday, October 5th. At 10:15, we have iPad apps for those who signed up in the Manatee Room on the island. At 10:30, Anatomy of Words continues in the Oak Room of the Woodlands, and all are welcome. At 1:15, Personal Records on Your Computer will begin in the Technology Teaching Center. Sign up is required. I'd like to tell you about some new classes coming tomorrow. We have the Story of China Part 2 with Professor Adrian Kerr. John Chamberlain of Genonia and Ken Peterson of Oakmont are going to teach Learn to Sail with Victoria Remote Control Sailboats. And we have iPhone, What Do I Need to Know About iCloud with Bruce Findlay of Sundial. Al Kaplan of Oakmont will teach how to organize your computer files and start shredding.
Menus for Monday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is grilled shrimp penne with broccoli and garlic bread. The dinner special is Old Home Cooking Night for $11.95, and the soup of the day is vegetable beef. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Monday, the special is a meat lover's scramble with home fries for $7.75. The dinner special is almond crusted tilapia over mango with a cranberry salad and island rice for $8.75. And the Palm Grill is closed on Mondays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins. I'm the senior pastor of the Village Church, and I'm here with Janice Quinlan. And Janice is an international worker in residence with us here at the Village Church, and she's been here for a little more than a year. And that was the term that we had established because Janice has been on home assignment for that particular period of time. She's been working in Thailand. How long had you been in Thailand before?
30
you came?
years.
30 years in Thailand. And before you came here, what kinds of things had you done in Thailand on the international scene?
For the majority of the time, I taught New Testament at Northeastern Bible Seminary for 20 of those years. And most recently, I was field director for the CMA mission in Thailand.
I see. And that mission is located in
Bangkok.
In Bangkok. Well, you're getting ready to go back. Home assignment is over.
Yes.
And so you spent the year here with us, and it's certainly hasn't been a vacation. You know, there are things to do when you're on home assignment. Tell us a little bit about what has kept you going and what has kept you active during this past year, not only here at the Village Church, but other places as well.
Well, I did have some responsibility to do some traveling and visiting churches that have a connection with the Thailand field. So I did some of that in the fall and in the early spring. And then the majority of my home assignment was to connect the people of Shell Point and the Village Church with what we're doing overseas. So it puts a face with the Great Commission.
Now, you're going to be going back to Thailand very soon, and when you get back there, what will you be doing?
Well, I will return to my position as country director for the CMA mission. So I'll look for an apartment, settle in, and there's a stack of work already waiting.
How fun. Yeah. Now, when you go back there, how many international workers are there in Thailand that you'll be working with and overseeing?
Under the umbrella of the Siam mission, we have 84 adults and about 20 children.
Wow, that's a lot. Fantastic. So you have people all over the country, not just in Bangkok, who are doing various kinds of ministries. Well, that's wonderful. Well, you are well up to the task. We've appreciated the work that you've done with us in the Village Church. You've contributed substantially to things like the Missions Committee and various activities and worship services, and it's been a delight to be able to get to know you and have you engage with our people. And it's I have the utmost confidence that the Lord will be with you as you go back.
Thank you.
So we certainly want to extend our prayers and our well wishes to you as you return, and just simply know that the Village Church is behind you.
Thank you.
And God bless you, Janice.
Thank
you. Yeah. Thank you for joining us on Village Church Connections, and I hope you'll also keep Janice in your prayers as you think of her as she returns to Thailand.
Well, thank you for joining us today. On tomorrow's program, we will learn more about the Pavilion's Auxiliary Bakeless Bake Sale and what the future holds for them in their 3-year plan. And Dottie Morrison will visit with a resident photographer in the photo studio to learn about his artistic technique. This has been Shell Point Today for Monday, October 5th. I'm Mary Kay Grimaldi.
And I'm Rich Nation. On behalf of the entire staff here at SPTV, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.